Hare Krishna. Okay, so this is our Bhagavatam sanga, or trying just to listen Bhagavatam, to go through different stories of Bhagavatam. And the previous time, or the first time, we were speaking about how Bhagavatam starts, and we were speaking how the great sages in Naimisharanya forest, they're asking questions. And basically Sutta Goswami starts answering these questions, and this is the beginning of Bhagavatam. But actually, like the real beginning of Bhagavatam is when Shukadeva Goswami starts answering the questions of Parikshit Maharaj. So just we can say Sutta Goswami is giving this little bit prehistorical accounts, what's happening before that. Like that. Hare Krishna. Oh, welcome. We are okay. Welcome.
Okay.
So we have Bhagavatam, and on the basis of Bhagavatam, we can establish our whole philosophy, Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, Achintya Bheda Tattva. And if you remember, the last time we were reading these very famous verses from second canto of Bhagavatam, verses which are establishing the whole process of bhakti is working. These are, like, if you want to write down the numbers, these are verses 1 to 15 to 22. Just if you want to know. It's not necessary. We are not at school. But I'm just saying very important verses which actually establish.
Can you say that?
Shrimad Bhagavatam 1 to verse 15 to 22nd, establishing how the whole process of bhakti is working. And we are describing how in the beginning one serves the Vaishnavas. This is the beginning of spiritual life. And by serving the Vaishnavas, somehow mystically one gets desire to hear about Krishna, to listen about Krishna, pastimes of Krishna, glories of Krishna, qualities of Krishna, about the form of Krishna. And all these things, when the devotee is gradually listening more and more about Krishna, Krishna who is inside, within his heart, he becomes very happy, very satisfied. And Krishna within the heart starts purifying his heart. So gradually all the dirty things start disappearing from the heart. And when most of the dirty things from the heart disappeared, like lust, anger, greed, illusion, the devotee becomes very situated in spiritual life, in spiritual activities. Before that, sometimes we are doing spiritual activities, but then our mind says, oh, actually I have this desire, and so important desire, I want to do it. I cannot wait more. So we go somewhere else, we do something. And then after some time again, we say, oh, actually bhakti, that's very important. I have to do bhakti. So we go back to bhakti and we practice bhakti again. So like that. But when the heart becomes kind of mainly purified, actually one becomes very fixed in the spiritual life. And then he gradually starts getting more and more taste out of it. And then on a high platforms of the devotional service, devotional life, one gets the positive knowledge about Krishna. We are speaking about this positive knowledge. In other words, generally, at some point, we understand what is not spiritual. We easily figure out this, but actually we don't know what really is the spiritual thing. So when one advances in spiritual life, he understands, oh, wait a minute, this is God. This is spiritual life. This is spiritual world. So the positive spiritual reality becomes manifested in front of us, and we get realization. What does it mean, spiritual life? What does it mean?
So what actually happens then? One sees the Lord, sees himself in his spiritual form.
Yes.
Okay.
And he starts serving the Lord with his spiritual form.
So first of all, we hear about Krishna, by practicing bhakti, then we come in direct contact with Krishna. Just like we're talking now. You can talk to the Lord also. But this will happen when Krishna decides to happen, on his terms. There is nothing we can do to force him, to demand from him. But by sincerity, by being very humble and having strong desire, actually, this is what the Acharyas explain. If we have very, very strong desire, like greed, if you're very greedy to attain this, then probably there is a good chance, we cannot say when or how, but Krishna will reciprocate. Because his nature is very merciful. And then we'll kind of come out of this material identity. Everyone has material identity right now. And this is our real world. We kind of have some spiritual aspirations, but they're usually somewhere in a very remote place from us now, quite far away. And what is actually real and tangible is our material reality. I have this body, I am such and such, this is my name, and this is my job, and these are my relatives, and this is the real thing. And a feature of my material real reality is my spiritual life, but it's kind of obscure. It's not the prominent. But gradually, this will switch, and the spiritual reality will become more and more prominent, and we'll start to this material reality will start to fade away. Yes.
I have a question. So, building the relationship with God, like Krishna, is it a same as like you say, like it's a vibration practice thing, or like spiritual? And if you say spiritual, like in what ways or in what sense?
It can be both. It can be spiritual, it can be religious. It depends how we are approaching God.
Mm.
Like some people, they approach God because they need some spiritual practices in their life to make them feel good, or because when they were young in their family certain rituals were done, so now they feel this need of performing certain rituals. But actually they are doing it more with the idea these things are helping them to feel better materially, or they think in this way I will be able to kind of acquire certain material assets or facilities. So generally, that's why people approach religion.
And it's very interesting because very often, most of the time, what happens is that people become very depressed, frustrated by their material attempts to enjoy, right? And then what happens? Then they try to become spiritual. And that means basically that they try to find some relief from this pain that they feel by following some spiritual process. Like they want to go to meditation, to yoga class or whatever. They call some friend who is famous as a spiritual person in their circle. They get some advice and they feel better. But the goal is not to advance spiritually so much. The goal is just to remove the pain so that they can very quickly go back to what they were doing before, trying to enjoy. That's what people usually think as spiritual life. They don't have spiritual goal to go beyond, to reestablish their relationship with God. Not necessarily. They just want to feel better, to get some relief so that they can go back to work hard and party hard.
So you mean like if you practice the relationship with God or Krishna, then you'll be able to move yourself into the next level of like, right? Is that what you
Yes,
mean, right?
yes.
The real spiritual life. A real spiritual life means
not pseudo spiritual, so-called.
Yeah, you understand that you are a spiritual entity and you need a spiritual relationship and spiritual food to sustain your spiritual life, all these things. So it's a spiritual existence. A religion nowadays basically means just something that you do, some kind of rituals that help you to establish yourself better in material position, material situation. That's not the goal of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness was to help you to establish yourself in your original spiritual position as a spiritual entity, which is connected with the supreme spiritual entity. And if one establishes himself in this, he'll become eternally happy, eternally joyful. Otherwise, as Pandava Prabhu said, he'll be just going between trying to enjoy material and then renouncing the material, and then again trying to enjoy material and then again renouncing.
We have been doing this since time immemorial. This how to say it, oscillating between these two.
Yes.
Enjoyment. We try to be God, to be the controller and enjoy, and it doesn't work. And then we become so frustrated that we try to renounce everything. No, this is illusion. It doesn't work. I will become a monk. I will go and live in the cave somewhere. And this doesn't work either. So then after some time we become again bored, and then we go back to enjoy. And then we come again frustrated. So these are these two, Bhoga and Tyaga, or karma and jnana. And bhakti is in between. Actually, bhakti is something different. Right?
Like you follow diet, then you don't want diet anymore. No restriction, do whatever you like. Or you work hard, and you don't want to work hard anymore. You want to go and relax, enjoy holidays. Well, everything we are doing it in this way. So we are eager to do material activities, and then we want to stop material activities. And then after some time we become bored, and then again we engage in material activities. And we become exhausted, and again we want to stop material activities. But we never do spiritual activities. That's the difference.
But is it like because Krishna also like console Arjuna not to stop the material world?
Yes,
Is that?
correct.
So how is that? Like if you only practice and then you are too let's say like you're too spiritual, is you may be like only
because our
you
idea,
just want a relationship with God, but you don't want any like material activity.
no, because our idea of spirituality very often is the opposite of material. So if material means work hard, then spiritual should mean stop working. Our idea about spirituality is material thing minus opposite of the material. So we think if the material world means activities, that means spiritual world should mean no activities. But Krishna is explaining in Bhagavad Gita, no, it's not like that. Material world is activities, spiritual reality, spiritual world means again activities, but not for yourself, but for Krishna. This is what he's trying again and again and again to explain in Bhagavad Gita. That to start your spiritual life does not mean stop being active. It means continue being active, but now with different consciousness. Before we were very eager to be active because you get things for ourselves. Yes, I'll get lots of money, I'll get good position, everybody will respect me, I'll become very famous, I will become in a better position. This is our motivation for action. Spiritual life means now we are again very eager to do the things. But why? Because it will give pleasure to Krishna. And if Krishna is happy, naturally I'll be also happy. Like when you give water to the root of the tree, automatically the leaves and branches will also get water. So if Krishna, the root, the root of the tree becomes nourished, naturally we as the leaves from the tree, the small souls will be also nourished. Or if you give food to the stomach, naturally the whole body will become energized.
Yes.
Does this answer?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a long topic.
Yeah, that's what
Spiritual
happens
and religious.
in Bhagavad Gita in the beginning. Arjuna, he calculates, if I fight, nothing good will come to me. I cannot enjoy the result of fighting. Either way, if I win, then I will be conquering at the cost of killing all my relatives, so I cannot enjoy. And if I don't win, then I will lose the battle. So either way, there's nothing for me. That's the problem. Arjuna exemplifies our problem. He doesn't have this problem, but he's put in illusion by Krishna. And our problem is that we always very selfish, the material, the conditioned living entities. We don't do anything unless there is something there for me. If we don't see that there is something there for me, we won't do it. And this is what Krishna breaks in Arjuna. He explains that, no, you do it, but not for you. You do it for me, and then you'll be happy.
This is yoga,
This
the
is
art of action.
the art of action.
You're doing it, but the result goes to someone else. And naturally, you'll get some feeling out of it because you sacrifice yourself for someone else. You'll get happiness out of it. But it's like a byproduct. It's not our goal. It just comes naturally. Okay, so now in third chapter of Bhagavatam, first canto, there is a list of avatars or incarnations of Krishna. Why? Because one of the questions of the sages in Naimisharanya, they are asking, there was about different appearances and activities of the Lord. So Sutta Goswami starts answering this question now, but actually this will be discussion that will be appearing again and again, because in a sense, the whole Srimad Bhagavatam is answer to this question. Because in so many different places, different appearances of the Lord are described, what kind of activities he did, what amazing tasks, and so on and so on. So now this is just, we could say like the prelude, the beginning of answering of this question. And I just wanted to read a little bit. So first Sutta Goswami is describing the three Purusha avatars. Do you know which are those three Purusha avatars? Maybe Jui knows. Or you're not sure? I'll help you. The three Vishnus. Karano Dakashaya Vishnu. Correct. Yes. So these are three manifestations of the Lord that appear in order the universe to appear. The first one is glancing over material nature. And God is so powerful that just by glancing the material nature, he impregnates the living entities in the womb of material nature. And then material living entities, they appear. And then with these second incarnations, he enters the universe and he becomes like the soul of the universe. So, yeah, so basically he's...
the universal soul.
Yeah.
Just like the body has soul.
So the universal body also has a soul, and this is Garbhodakasha Vishnu, and he is maintaining the whole universe. And then one more time he is expanding as one more avatara or expansion, and he enters within everything, within the heart of every living entity. He enters with each and every atom. He enters even between the atoms. So everything that we see around us, all these shapes, all this is existing because of this energy of these three expansions of the Lord. Like, for example, now if we look, this is a pillar. But actually, if you go very deeply, it's not a pillar. It's just some random atoms and molecules which are staying in a certain shape. But who is deciding that these atoms and molecules, they are staying exactly in this shape? And they're so powerful that these huge, like tons of materials which are on the top of them, they are not just smashing this pillar into powder. Why is that? Well, because Krishna is there with his energy and he is holding it. If not, it will just collapse, it will go down. Why this chair is staying like a chair? Why is not just collapsing on the ground? Because Krishna is there with a very specific energies. And
why the planets are floating in
yes,
space.
Yes. Why this building is staying like that?
It's so difficult to float some object in space. So people spent many years to come up with these airplanes. It was not easy. And there's just no airplanes.
What about you need a few and
yeah, it's a whole arrangement. So what about the whole planet? how this is floating.
So all this is because of the energy of these three Vishnus. They are starting material creation, they are maintaining it, and when the time comes, they will destroy it, dissolve it. And then we have a descriptions of other interesting incarnations of the Lord who did different amazing tasks. So this is third chapter of Bhagavatam. It's called Krishna, the source of all incarnations. Okay. So after these three incarnations appear, then the other main appearances or incarnations of the Lord are described. First of all, in the beginning of the creation, there were the four unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerity for realization of the absolute truth. Four great sages who look like a small, like 4 or 5 years old boys. Why? They said they will never grow up. Why? Because they saw when a person grew up, he becomes influenced more seriously from Maya. And that's why they said, no, we are not growing up. We will always stay babies. Babies, they don't have lust, they don't have greed, they don't have all these things. So they are very advanced spiritually, and they are traveling all over the universe, and they are giving spiritual knowledge. And in many places in the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Puranas, they will speak because they are like one of the greatest sages in the universe, but they look like a small boys, like small kids. The supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices accepted the incarnation of a boar, the second incarnation, and for the welfare of the earth, he lifted the earth from the nether regions of the universe. So this is when God appears as Varahadev. And for some reason, the earthly planet is, what is the word? It's coming out of its orbit and falls in the universal ocean. So the Lord takes this special form, and with his tasks, he goes on the bottom of the ocean and lifts the earth and puts it again on its proper place. So that's also appearance of the Lord, especially to perform this mission. In the millennium of the rishis, the personality of Godhead accepted the third empowered incarnation in the form of Devarshi Narada, who is a great sage among the demigods. He collected expositions of the Vedas which deal with devotional service and which inspire non-fruitive action. Narada Muni, he is known that he is traveling all over the world. He is playing his veena, a musical instrument, and he is spreading bhakti. He is special incarnation of the Lord, which is known as Bhakti Avatara. He is especially spreading devotional service. You have some questions, ask.
Yeah.
Don't be. In the fourth incarnation, the Lord became Nara and Narayana, the twin sons of the wife of King Dharma. Thus he undertook severe and exemplary penances to control the senses. So Krishna comes together with Arjuna. Krishna and Arjuna that we know from Bhagavad Gita, they come many, many years ago as two great sages, and they perform great austerities to give example to the living entities how human life is not just meant for sense gratification, but rather for austerity, for spiritual upliftment of the consciousness.
It is quite groundbreaking assumption in our life that the human life is meant for austerity. If we accept this, our life will change drastically, right? because then we will perform volunteer austerity in order to advance spiritually. So it will be great relief for us, because now we think a human life is meant for enjoyment. It's the opposite way of thinking. And then if it's meant for austerity, then well, okay, let's do austerity. Then we'll lose this. We'll get relief from all these false expectations about life. It will feel okay. I don't have to have these high expectations of material sense enjoyment anymore. Okay, life is meant for austerities, and then you're peaceful. But the problem is that we don't really accept this. We accept it theoretically, but practically we're still trying to enjoy. And then we have difficulties.
Yes. There's a nice story about Narada and Narayana Rishi. They became so great that Indra got afraid that they may take over his throne and the heavenly planets. And he sent a special girls, very beautiful girls from the heavenly planets to allure them. But then when Narayana Krishna saw this, he wanted to give a lesson to Indra to show him how powerful he is. And then he just slapped his leg, and then very, very beautiful girls came out of there, much more beautiful than the girls from the heavenly planets. And when these girls saw the girls that came from the body of Narayana, they felt ashamed and they just left. And Indra realized actually how great is Narayana. And actually, he became attracted to one of the girls that came from the body of Narayana. And when this girl started going again back into the body of Narayana, he said, wait, just please don't take this one, give it to me. So she became like a special decoration of the heavenly planet, Survashi, because it's coming from the body of the Lord. It's very special. So these are Narayana Rishi, special incarnation of the Lord. Then in the fifth incarnation named Lord Kapila is foremost among perfected beings. He gave an exposition of the creative elements and metaphysics to Asuri Brahmana, for in course of time this knowledge has been lost. So Kapila Dev, his teachings are described in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, very much in detail. He is giving so many instructions about the creation of the world and about the living entity and its relationship with God and how to perform devotional service, all these things. Later, what this avatar was teaching will be very nicely described. The sixth incarnation of the Purusha was the son of the sage Atri. He was born from the womb of Anasuya, who prayed for an incarnation. He spoke on the subject of transcendence to Alarka, Prahlada, and others. So this incarnation of the Lord is known as Dattatreya, also great sage who was walking around and he was living like Avaduta. He was externally looking, you could say, a little bit strange person, not completely normal, but he was spiritually completely elevated and he gave spiritual instructions to many great personalities. The seventh incarnation was Yagya, the son of Prajapati Ruchi and his wife Akuti. He controlled the period during the reign of Swayambhuva Manu and was assigned by demigods such as his son Yama. So because this universe should be controlled, so much management should happen in this universe. And there are a few main personalities who are taking care of this. One is Lord Brahma. He's like the highest officer, highest manager. Then under him you have Indra, who is based on the heavenly planets, and he is also one of the main managers of the universe. And then you have a Manu, who is especially taking care for the human beings, men, Manu, men. So whenever there is some problem in the universe and these personalities cannot manage, they actually need help. And who is going to help them? Always there is a particular incarnation of the Lord who is around, and in case there are some very difficult problems, this incarnation of the Lord immediately goes and helps them. So in the case of Swayambhuva Manu, the first Manu, in this day of Brahma, the incarnation was Yagya. And at some point there was some difficulty, so Yagya immediately took over. He immediately makes sure that everything in the universe will be go on in the right way. So this incarnation is called Yagya. Some of them we never heard. Some of them are very famous. Eighth incarnation was King Rishabha, son of King Nabi, and his wife Merudevi. In this incarnation, the Lord showed the path of perfection, which is followed by those who have fully controlled their senses and who are honored by all others, all orders of life. Yes, sorry. So the life of Rishabhadev is described in
fifth canto
of Srimad Bhagavatam. And especially his instructions to his sons are there, and they are very, very famous. And the first of his instructions, because we spoke about this, he is saying human life is not meant for the sense gratification, which is actually available for everybody, even for the lowest animals. Rather, the real goal of human life is tapo divyam, divine austerities, which will help one to understand tapo divyam putra kayena sattvam shutyet yasmad brahma saukyam to anandam. It will help him to understand he is a spiritual entity, and he'll be able to experience spiritual bliss, spiritual happiness. It's very famous, very, very famous instruction of Rishabhadev. And then he is saying, if someone served the great saintly personalities, spiritual people, this will open the door for liberation for him. And if someone is trying to engage himself in sense gratification, this will open the door to hell for him. So these are some very powerful instructions of this incarnation, Rishabha. So we see many of those incarnations, they just give to reestablish the transcendental knowledge, because the spiritual knowledge from time to time becomes lost, and they come again and again to remind the people actually what is the real goal of life.
So because of before we're asking like, like it's hard to become fully spiritual, like spiritual, because like if you can perform like you said, like in the material, but like, with the spiritual activities, it is kind of hard because like human, like let's say like me, right? Like just like not like full devotee or like who like stay in the temple or something, then you have a lot of duties, and then when you have a lot of duties and then like other things, like you tend to like distract it. Like saying like exactly what you were saying. So when I go to a temple, when I was like practice, like you like kind of pull yourself into that spiritual. But then when you perform your duties in the material world, you get distracted also.
So your exam in life is how to manage to perform your duties and at the same time to remember Krishna.
Yeah, or like to have, like you said, like to realize like you are the spiritual, like so entities.
Yes, exactly. You perform your duties, but at the same time you remember, wait a minute, I'm a spiritual entity, I'm connected with Krishna. I have to always remember Krishna. What I'm doing now, actually, let me connect it with Krishna. Let me do it for the pleasure of Krishna. Like you have a home and you have to clean your home, yes? Someone may say, oh, this is totally material activity. But no, actually, this is not a material activity. If you are doing it for the pleasure of Krishna, how to do it for the pleasure of Krishna? Well, you make an altar in your home. And then you remember, wait a minute, this is not my home. This is the home of Krishna.
Mm.
And he gave it to me so that I can perform my spiritual life here. But actually, it does not belong to me. It belongs to him. So let me maintain it nice and pure and clean for his pleasure. So in this way, this activity becomes spiritual. You have a job, you have to go, you have to perform your duty. But then when you take your money at the end, you can think, these are my money, or you can think, no, these are not my money. These are the money of Krishna. Because I managed to take this money, how? With this body, with this mind, with this intelligence. I don't have these things, they don't belong to me. All these assets, Krishna gave them to me. So that means the result belongs to Krishna. So I have to use this money for the pleasure of Krishna. Okay, so let me go and buy something and bring it to the temple. Let me go and buy some products and go home and cook very nice things and offer them to Krishna for his pleasure. Let me invite other people and feed them spiritual food, prasadam. This will make Krishna very happy. So in this way, one way or the other, we can actually connect all our activities with Krishna, and then they become spiritualized. They become spiritual. So in this way, you can do your duties and you can still remember Krishna.
Mm.
This is what Krishna is saying to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. He's not telling him, okay, just give up this fighting, just go to the forest. No, you are a warrior. You have to fight to perform your duty. So if you know your duty is to work, or if someone is married, take care of the family or take care of the kids, you have to perform your duty. But connect each and every activity you are doing with Krishna.
Mm.
Why I'm taking care of my kids? Krishna gave me these kids. So now I have to take care. This is my duty. Krishna wants me to do this.
Mm.
Everything we are doing, we can connect it with Krishna. And then maybe when we become like 50 or 60, then we can think, okay, let me reduce a little bit the activities which are indirectly connected with Krishna, and let me increase my direct activities for Krishna. So let's say instead of chanting 1 hour and working 8 hours, we can start working 2-3 hours because we have very little material needs, and chant and read 3 hours, 4 hours, or go with the devotees somewhere. So like that, gradually within our life, we can increase the spiritual activities and reduce material activities. But generally in the beginning, it is advised that one just, whatever he is doing, he just connects it with Krishna. Is that okay?
Yeah. Mhm.
Does it clears the doubt in your mind?
Say sorry?
What we just explained,
Yeah.
is it clears the doubt in your mind?
Yes, it's because definitely because before I'm more like I mean like it's coming like it's just it give me like the remind me like yes, it's so true what you were just saying, like when you do that you think like you think that is like you're the doer, but no, it's everything is like Krishna was helping you. That's why you'll be able to do that. So yeah, definitely.
That's why we should see everything connected with Krishna.
Right. Sometimes you just forget, like now it's like when you say like, yeah, it's just like yeah, it's like I said, it's very easy to get distracted. Like the moment, like like you like almost it's like you get involved into this, and then like you would just like one after another and after another, right? And you just get so distracted into that, And, yeah. But yeah, you have to always remember, like you said, always remember.
Always remember Krishna,
That's
never
important.
forget him, and perform your duty at the same time.
Yeah.
That's why the book that we released with Pandava, it's called Remember Me and Fight.
Mm.
Do your fight in life, do your duty, but at the same time always remember Krishna. These two should go together.
The moment you don't remember, you got distracted right away, right? I don't know if it's but for me, it's definitely, and you get distracted so easily.
So next incarnation is King Prithu. He's a great king who appeared on earth, and he performed amazing tasks. He performed many spiritual activities for the benefit of all the pragya, all the people in his kingdom. It's very famous. He's also on the pages of Bhagavatam. Basically, all these main incarnations that we are mentioning now, they will be their life and their amazing activities will be described one after the other on the pages. Bhagavatam. Next incarnation is when there was a complete inundation after the period of Chakshusha Manu, and the whole world was deep within water. The Lord accepted the form of a fish and protected Vaivasvata Manu, keeping him up on a boat. So there was a big inundation, and the Lord appeared as a huge fish and gave instruction to this king, Vaivasvata Manu, to, what was his name before that?
Satyavrata.
Satyavrata Manu.
No,
No, not Muni.
not,
Just
yeah,
a-
there's Satya.
okay, a king.
He was king. Yeah.
So he told him a big inundation is coming. Immediately you have to make a big ship. And then when the waters came, the king entered inside with so many animals and plants. And then this
Yeah,
huge
similar
fish
to the
came.
Bible.
Yeah,
Although it's
the noise story, from the Bible.
no. Anyway, although Bhagavatam is much older than the Bible. So.
But there is not mentioned that there was a big fish. And actually this fish was the Supreme Lord. So this
Can I
fish,
ask you a question about it?
yes, please.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. um, I was just wondering if there is any connection between how in Bhagavad Gita Krishna is saying that among the fish I am shark, and this reincarnation of Krishna is fish.
Well, there is a connection because both are fishes. What Krishna means in Bhagavad Gita when he says is the shark, actually the word is makara, which is some devotees are saying it's some mystical animal, very special mystical animal, some combination between shark and alligator and whatever, elephant, something like that.
Really, in translation I read it says shark.
I mean, if you see the Sanskrit,
Uh-huh.
they say
No, I don't know Sanskrit, so I just read it in
shark.
English.
Yeah, because shark is kind of, the idea is that all these things described there in Bhagavad Gita, they present some special power of the Lord. And when it comes to the entities which are living in the ocean, shark is considered very, very special, very powerful. So that's why it represents Krishna. And
But he didn't use his reincarnation as fish, no?
and
Did
he,
he?
this incarnation of the fish is the Lord.
Matsya was not a shark.
Yes. It was not a shark, and also Matsya. Why Lord appears in this form of a fish? Well, like he has to perform some very particular thing, and what is that? He has to, for a very long time, push this boat through a through ocean with huge waves. What will be the best shape to take? Well, a fish. So that's why he's taking a fish. But he can take any form he likes. But just for this particular pastime, this is like the most practical. Like before that, he had to leave the earth from the ocean. And it was very practical to be a boar with the tusks, because then it will be very easy to do
Right.
like that.
Okay, thank you.
Matsya was also wow. Matsya was pulling the boat. He was speaking the medicine. And the king was listening.
This also gives us some idea that there are constantly within the existence of the universe, constantly there are some big floods. Some of them are partial floods, some are like complete floods. Means some of them only the earth goes under the water, some of them even heavenly planets. So the water goes really high in the universe. If we can imagine that the universe is like a bowl and we are inside this bowl, And suddenly the water within the bowl starts going up, 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 and everything goes underwater. And this continues for many, many years. And then the waters goes down and again the life continues. These are like cycles that are happening. Like tomorrow there is a special alert for very severe flooding, maybe. So
Right, I was gonna say that it's gonna flood tomorrow in New York.
hopefully not so serious.
We have a festival day after.
Hopefully we will survive. But that's the task of Matsya, this incarnation of the Lord. Is that okay?
Muchas gracias.
Olga. Juan is sending you greetings.
Hi all.
Okay, so next incarnation is 11 incarnation of the Lord took the form of a tortoise, whose shell served as a pivot for the Mandara Chala hill, which was being used as a churning rod by the theists and atheists of the universe. This pastime will be described in 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when the demons and the demigods, they decided they want to churn the milk ocean, because from this ocean many amazing things will appear. And also the nectar, which the nectar of immortality, they will become like eternal. So they joined together to do this amazing task, but at some point, a huge mountain they were using as a churning rod actually starts going within the bottom of the ocean. So the Lord had to come, especially in the form of this tortoise, and go under the mountain and keep the mountain so that the mountain can rotate properly. It's also interesting appearance of the Lord. In the 12th incarnation, Lord appeared as Dhanvantari, and he gave the science of Ayurveda. This is the incarnation of the Lord that gives the science of Ayurveda. Dhanvantari is his name. And then in the 13th, he allured the atheists by the charming beauty of a woman and gave nectar to the demigods to drink. So this is the incarnation of Mohini Murti. God appears as a very beautiful woman to take the nectar, the amrita that they churn from the milk ocean, to take it from the demons, to give it only to the demigods. Because if the demons become immortal, they will create lots of problems in the world. Then in the 14th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Narasimha and bifurcated the strong body of the atheist Hiranyakashipu with his nails, just as a carpenter pierces cane. We know about Narasimha Dev. Yes. You know Narasimha?
I hear the songs, but I don't know exactly who is the person. I think that there's some, yeah.
This is a god who appears to protect one small boy.
In the morning, right? Prayer too. It's in the, right? In the morning,
Correct.
Manga Aarti, right?
Yes.
Yes.
We
Yeah,
pray
but
about
I don't
mercy.
know.
It's incarnation of the Lord that appeared to protect his devotee. So the devotees, they pray to Narasimhadev, this form of the Lord, half lion, half man. There is a nice picture in the temple room that he always protect them, and especially they pray to protect their guru, their spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada started this chanting of this song for Narasimhadev. Actually, he said, you can sing every day this song and ask Narasimhadev to protect my health, because he was very sick at that time. So it's like it is said, Narasimhadev, he is Bhakti Vigna Vinasha. He is destroying all the obstacles on the spiritual path of the devotee so that they can steadily progress in spiritual life. So it's actually very nice for the devotees every day to pray to Narasimhadev, to sing this song. Also, especially when they are in difficult circumstances, they pray to Narasimhadev to remove the obstacles, the difficulties in their life. In the 17th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Shiv Yasadev. So now, a little later, we are going to speak about Shiv Yasadev, but this is the incarnation of the Lord that
What happened with the 15 and 16?
Oh, did I miss something? Um,
14th even. Okay.
mhm.
14 is Nisimha. 15 is Vamana.
Oh yeah, sorry. I skipped Vamana
Also Brigupati.
and Brigu. So yeah, next incarnation is Vamanadev. His story is also described in 8th canto of Bhagavatam. Anyway, I won't say anything about Vamanadev. When the time comes, it's an amazing story. Why the Lord appears again to give special mercy to one of his devotees.
Yes, Vamanadev is a small dwarf. He's very cute looking.
Very beautiful.
Very
He said
beautiful.
he's the incarnation of the Lord that especially shows this opulence of the Lord, his beauty.
What happened
Very,
was,
very-
what was that the Indra, who is the main demigod, he offended his guru. And because he offended his guru, then he lost his power. And then the demons, um, at the same time, they were very strictly worshipping their guru, and they got became very powerful because of this. So there are demons, but they follow the Vedic religion. And then they became so strong that they were able to defeat. There was not even a battle. They just appeared and in the heavenly planets, and then demigods saw that they understood that they cannot fight them, and they left. They scattered all over the universe. There was not even fight. So the demons, they took over heaven. This was one of these cases in the history of the universe when demons usually they live in they said the lower regions of the universe. They managed to jump over, and they went to Svarga. Anyway, so then the mother of the demigods, she was praying to the Lord. She performed austerities and she was praying to the Lord because she was very naturally, as a mother, she was very compassionate towards her children who were kicked out of heaven. And then the Lord appeared and he uh, told her, yes, I'll take care of this. But we cannot do it by force because right now the demons, they're worshipping the Brahmanas very strictly, so it won't work. The Brahmanas are giving their full blessings, so we cannot fight this. But I'll find another way. And then what he did, he appeared as the brother of Indra. So he appeared as son of Aditi, and he appeared in this small, beautiful form of a dwarf, brahmachari. And then he understood that Bali Maharaj was performing. Bali Maharaj was the king of the demons, so he took over Indra's throne. So he was ruling.
Basically, the whole universe.
He was ruling
He
the whole
took
universe.
over the whole universe.
Bali
He was
Maharaj
so powerful.
very powerful king. And then he was performing great sacrifice, and Vamana, the Supreme Lord, he went there as a Brahmana dwarf, and when the Brahmanas go to sacrifice, the king, if he's past king, he always gives them some, what's the word, donation.
Yeah, like
charity.
remuneration.
He has to give something in charity, especially if the Brahmanas ask for something. And the Vedic tradition is that the kings, they always serve the Brahmins. They always protect them, and they give them generously charity. Brahmins are the priests, and the Kshatriyas are the kings. So although Bali Maharaj was demon, he followed this etiquette. Never in his family, they never refused to give charity to the Brahmins. Then Vamanadev went there, and then the king was very pleased to see him, and he asked, he didn't know that this is the Lord, apparently, although some say that he knew. But anyway, so Vamanadev, he asked Vamanadev, what can I do for you, my dear Brahman? Ask for anything. Never in my family, we never refused to to give charity to the Brahmins. So you can ask whatever you want. Any type of riches. He was the Lord of the whole universe, so he could have give him anything. But the Vamana Dev, he asks only for 3 steps of land, and he was very small, so you can imagine. I mean, normally you don't expect that he would take very huge steps.
The,
He's
the
small.
king was surprised. Like,
Yeah, he was surprised. He said, "I can give you everything."
ask at least 100 steps or whatever. Like,
The Bali Maharaj said, I could give you everything, and you asking just for 3 steps of land. This is not very
wise.
wise. Please ask something more. And then Vamanadev said, no, if somebody is not pleased by having 3 steps of land, he'll not be pleased by even if he possesses the whole universe. Then Bali Maharaj said, okay, this is fair enough. Okay, you have your 3 steps of land, please measure 3 steps of land and you'll get them. And then before this happened, the guru of Bali Maharaj, Shukracharya, he understood what's happening, and he was very concerned because you can imagine you are the priest of the Lord of the universe. Naturally, you get remuneration because you're the priest of the richest person, the most powerful person in the whole universe. So Shukracharya, he was attached to this position, and he understood that this small brahmachari is not an ordinary brahmachari. He's actually the Supreme Lord.
And he came with a mission.
And he came with a mission. He wanted to take away all universe and give it back to them. And he understood that, and he told his disciple, it's good. I mean, it's true that you promised, but you should not keep your promise, because this is actually the Supreme Lord, and he'll take away everything, and you will not even be able to give him these 3 steps of land, because Shukracharya, he could see present, the future, and the past. So he told the king, with the first step he will cover half of the universe, and the second he will cover the rest of the universe, and then there will be no place for the 3rd step. And because you didn't, and then you won't be able to keep your promise given to the Brahmana, and then you have to suffer for this. You have to go to hell, because this is what happens if you promise something to Brahmana and you don't do it. Then you have to. It's sinful. And then he gave other reasons why Bali Maharaj shouldn't keep his promise. And you can imagine this was very difficult situation, because your guru is telling you something. And then Bali Maharaj thought for a while, and then he rejected his guru. He told his guru, what is the serious reason I should not I should not keep my word? And even if this is the Supreme Lord, isn't it proper that we give everything to him, anything that he wants? And then he decided to keep his promise. Much to the dismay of Shukracharya, who was seeing how he's losing all his influence in the universe. And then what happened was exactly what Shukracharya said that will happen. Vamanadev expanded his body, and then he took the first step. He covered half of the universe. The second step, he covered the rest, and he even pierced with his toe of his lotus foot. He pierced the coverings of the universe, and therefore in the Purusha Sukta it says, Dashangulam, by 10 fingers he went outside of the coverings of the universe, and then the causal ocean, the liquid Brahma Jyoti, or we know this as river Ganga, came in the universe. So what is known on this planet Earth as river Ganga, it has washed the lotus feet of Vamanadev, and it's the water of the Karanajal, the causal ocean. It's spiritual water. And then Vamanadev asks, so where shall I put my 3rd step, my dear king? there is no place you cannot provide. So then, yeah, it's a long pastime, but it was happy end in the end. And the Lord, in this way, he took away the whole universe, gave it back to the Indra, to the demigods. But he took care also, very nice, of Bali Maharaj. He placed him in,
Who surrendered everything that
surrendered everything to him. Even his wife was very happy. Bali Maharaj's wife. You can imagine your husband. He's the Lord of the whole universe. And then
that means you're the queen of the whole universe. And
Then-
suddenly
maybe some beggar comes. And instead of giving, okay, you give the beggar something. You don't give everything to the beggar. He gave everything. And then she, instead of scolding him, she was very happy. She was crying out to him that he gave everything to Vishnu.
such a great husband. My husband
So-
is so great husband, he gave everything to the Lord. So she was very happy.
So these were not ordinary people, obviously. And then, okay, Bhagavatam gave residence of Bali Maharaj on Sutala, which turns out to be even greater than heavenly planets, but it's kind of obscured. People don't.
Hidden.
It's people don't know, don't speak about this. It's not well known, but actually the standard of sanctification is higher than heaven. Then he installed Indra in heaven, and Bali Maharaj went to the Sutala, and then Shukracharya. One could think that the Lord will be, some people think that the Lord is very jealous and vengeful and angry. One could think because Shukracharya tried to obstruct Vamanadev in his mission, one will think that now the Lord will take revenge, right? He will punish this wrongdoer, Shukracharya, and send him in hell, to hell forever. No, the Lord allowed Shukracharya to go with Bali Maharaj to this beautiful place. And yeah, they missed something. We missed many things, but we cannot tell out the whole story.
So he became his
Yeah, this is very important. He became his doorman.
guard. The Supreme Lord said, I will be constantly with you and I will protect you. In case someone wants to come and create some troubles, I will be personally there and I'll take care.
Or in a case the demons, because he's the leader of the demons, in the case that the demons start making trouble to you, will also take care of this. So he stayed at the door of Sutala, and he's still there. And then, okay, now Indra is reinstalled in heaven, and he's still there. His name is Purandara. This is our Indra. Every Indra is a post, so there are different persons taking the post of Indra. So now,
King of heaven is called Indra.
so now the next king of heaven will be Bali Maharaj. So he will
He's waiting now.
he will tame this, but it will take some time. How long? Now we are in the 28th. No,
Yes.
No, one Mantara is changing all the demigods are changing.
14 Indras are changing. So Indra, in one day of Brahma, there are 14 Indras, and from this Indra, there'll be another 43-4 cycles of the yugas. So after 43 or 4 cycles of the yugas, Bali Maharaj will become Indra. And one cycle of the yugas is 4,300,000 years. So after
it takes some time.
a little bit more time. But these are special personalities. They live very long. So for them it's not a problem. To wait a little bit more and to enjoy life and wait.
So that's what happens when you surrender everything to the Lord. You get a reward way beyond your
Both material and spiritual,
imagination.
as we see. Like someone may say, okay, he surrendered everything to the Lord material, and now he's getting only the spiritual reward. But actually, if you think about it, he got both. He got like an ideal material situation to relax and enjoy life and just wait. until he becomes like one of the greatest personalities in the whole universe. And at the same time, he got the greatest spiritual boon because the Supreme Lord came to live with him. Every day he can reciprocate personally with the Lord. So he got everything just by surrendering to the Lord. That's why he's in the scriptures and he's eternally glorified.
And by the way, the Lord Vamnadev, at one point, he asked Shukracharya, the priest of Bali Maharaj, who was forbidding Bali Maharaj to give away the charity. He asked him, okay, so now, my dear Brahmana, please describe what were the mistakes in the sacrifice performed by your disciple, and please lay down the atonement for it. Then Shukracharya, by his answer, we understand that he's also not the ordinary Brahmana. Shukracharya answered, there may be any type of mistakes in the sacrifice or in the chanting of the mantras or the performance of the ritual, etc. But when your holy name is chanted, then all these mistakes are rectified automatically, they're nullified. There is no mistake because your holy name was chanted. That was the answer of Shukracharya. And then he said, but because you asking me, you're the Lord, I will explain. I will fulfill your order and I'll explain what are the mistakes. Technically, but there was no mistakes because you are present and your name is chanted, being chanted. So they were all actors, actually. They were all great devotees, but just everybody had to.
And it's amazing story on the pages of.
Sorry, I could not just not tell the story.
I'm very happy.
It's too much.
That you went for it. It was a great fun. And so the next incarnation, 16th incarnation, is the Lord is Brigupati or Parashuram, annihilated the administrative class Kshatriyas 21 times, being angry with them because of their rebellion against the Brahmanas, the intelligent class. So generally in the Vedic culture, in the Vedic tradition, you have this different class of personalities and they perform different work. Like in our society, we have teachers, we have administrators, we have businessmen, and we have working class. So generally the Vedic structure is that Kshatriyas are actually the practical people who rule everything, the administrators, the kings, but they naturally keep always subordinate position to the Brahmanas, to the priests, to the intellectuals, and always ask them for advice, what is the right way to take care for the country and for the people. Now, at some point, the Kshatriyas, they became so proud that they stopped listening to Brahmanas. And even they dared to commit violence to one of those Brahmanas, who was a very powerful person. Jamadagni is his name. And his son, like generally the Brahmanas, if something happened, they would just tolerate. But his son, for a certain reason, it is described why, he, although born in the family of Brahmanas, actually he had the character of Kshatriya also. So he had this kingly character. And when this happened, this injustice happened.
They killed his father.
Yes.
Actually.
He said, now I'm going to free the earth from the whole Kshatriya class. I'll kill each and every Kshatriya. And he was just traveling around the world and killing all the Kshatriyas again and again and again 21 times. Meaning, he'll kill everybody, then after some time a new Kshatriyas will appear, they'll grow. He'll go again and kill them again. He did 21 times. Oh, he was furious.
He was moving with the speed of the mind. Speed of the mind. And
when he became tired.
And when he was little tired, he was moving with the speed of the
wind.
Yeah.
This was his when he was little tired. But he was it's the incarnation of Krishna, so it was very powerful. He had this ox, Parashurama. Parashu means axe, yeah.
We have this interesting story how two incarnations of God met, Rama and Parashurama. These are two manifestations of God. So Rama, he was born as a Kshatriya. And Parashurama, he was going around the globe. And suddenly he met Rama. And he became very angry. Kshatriya, I will kill you now. And then he was thinking to do it. And then he wanted a special bow. Because Parshuram, he's special personality. He has all these divine weapons. So he closed his eyes and he just called for this special weapon to appear in his hand. And with this special bow to kill Rama. And he called one time, second time, but the bow was not appearing in his hand. And he was like shocked. What is this? And then he opened his eyes and he saw this same weapon that he was calling for. It was already in the hands of Ramachandra, in Rama. And not only that, there was already an arrow on it. And Rama was just staying like that, and he was saying, so what we're going to do now? And then Parashuram, he understood, okay, this must be incarnation of God. So he said, okay, I'll not mess up with you. You don't have problem from me. And I don't want to have problem from you. So let's just go in a different directions. Parashuram, very great incarnation. And then, thereafter, in the 17th incarnation, Lord appeared as Shiva Vyasadeva, and we said next time we're going to discuss very much this pastime, how Vyasadeva wrote Srimad Bhagavatam and why he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. Then in the 18th incarnation, the Lord appeared as King Rama, we just spoke about King Rama. In order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods, he exhibited superhuman powers by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist king Ravana, who was on the other side of the sea. So Ravana, he kidnapped the wife of Rama, and Rama decided that he will punish him. And the whole story describes how he's gathering his army and how he's crossing the ocean. He's building a bridge, huge bridge across the ocean to reach to the kingdom of Ravana and goes there and kills him. All these pastimes, they are described in a book known as Ramayana. Yes.
It's 25,000 verses. It's bigger than
Bhagavatam is 18,000 verses. So Ramayana is even bigger than Bhagavatam. And Mahabharata is how many?
More.
100,000 verses. So it's like what? 6 times bigger than Bhagavatam. And Mahabharata on the heavenly planets, it is said there is 1,500,000 verses. So much more pastimes and things that happen that we don't know. But the demigods, they know them, so they are telling them and they are describing them. So many pastimes of Krishna.
Question. So what's the difference between the Ramayana and the story which is mentioned in Bhagavatam?
which story?
The life of Rama.
This is the same story, just Bhagavatam is very compressed, very concise. Only the most important things.
Ramayana goes so much in detail. Okay. The 19th and 20th incarnation, the Lord advented himself as Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna in the family of Vrishni, and by so doing he removed the burden of the world. Krishna, it is said, Krishna appears to Paritranaya Sadhunam, to protect the righteous people and to annihilate the demoniac and to establish the principles of religion. So when Krishna appeared, he killed so many demons and demoniac kings to get rid of earth from this burden. And he protected his devotees and he reestablished religious principles. How he reestablished religious principles? By speaking what? Speaking Bhagavad Gita.
Oh, yes.
The knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. He's reestablishing the principles of religion. Then in the beginning of Kali Yuga, the Lord will appear as Buddha in the province of Gaya, just for the purpose of deluding those who are envious of the faithful theists. So the Lord will appear as Buddha and he will protect the animals, because gradually people will start using the excuse to perform animal sacrifices in the name of religion, but actually they'll do it just so that they can eat the flesh of those animals. So Lord Buddha appeared and said, you listen me, and I'm telling you the most important principle of Dharma religion is non-violence. So you should not kill any living entity. So in this way he saved the animals. That was main
So,
mission.
in the Vedic, in the previous cultures, they used to sacrifice the animal just as a means to see if their mantras are pure or not. But how would they know that? Like, would they actually see the soul transferring to a human being?
Yeah.
So the animal would transfer into a human being,
Or to a younger animal.
to younger animal.
Animal will enter in the fire,
Old animal.
Oh, they used to sacrifice.
and
old
and it will come out on the other side of the fire.
That's, yeah,
Oh, but it's the same animal.
the same soul, but in different body.
So the different body would be human being,
Or animal body, depends.
but
Sometimes.
higher animal body.
Yeah. No, just
The body is
the body is
rejuvenated.
rejuvenated. It's not this old body.
But if it's like a horse sacrifice, would it come back as a horse,
Yes.
but just a younger horse?
Yes, it was just a way to prove how powerful are those priests and how powerful they are their mantras. If their mantras, they can do something like that already in the beginning of the sacrifice, everybody understands, wow, these priests are qualified. Definitely whatever they do will give the right result. So everybody actually will be eager to take part, to participate. The king will give so much, so many arrangements. He'll do so much money he'll give. Why? Because he knows these are qualified brahmanas. This is like a way to prove how pure and how powerful were the brahmanas.
It's like an impression that they get like a higher, the soul gets higher body.
Yeah, could be. Could be. Sometimes.
I guess it depends on the.
But anyway,
Yeah.
these are forbidden in Kali Yuga.
Yeah, that's just.
They're not performed.
But it's very interesting. Here we are talking about Buddha on the pages of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is 5,000 years old, and Lord Buddha appeared 2,500 years ago. So actually, Srimad Bhagavatam is in advance, is foretelling what will be happening in the future. Bhagavatam was written 5,000 years ago.
Wow. How is that, right? That's possible.
Well, because these great sages that they wrote these literatures, these are very powerful personalities. Like next time when we speak about Vyasadeva, we will hear his guru is telling him, we know you are a very special person, you are very qualified. You can see the past, the present, and the future. That's why you can describe everything, all the events that happened before and all the events that are going to happen in the future. You can describe them in this book, Bhagavatam. So some of the things described in Bhagavatam, they are happening in the past. Some of the things, they will happen in the future. Like in the last canto of Bhagavatam, last volume of Bhagavatam, you have descriptions what will happen in the future on earth. In Kali Yuga, what kind of activities, what people will think, how they will act, all these things, it will be described.
That's quite a, so you say, yeah, like, they can predict, the past, the present, and the future, but like, is that a possible that like, let's say like Buddha, right? Already predicts, but maybe like after like and then they edit the like newer version,
Interpolation.
update the names, you think? Is that? Like, so let's say like, yeah, the stages before, right, when they can predict the reincarnation, but maybe not the name of the Buddha, and then like maybe the newer version of like writing like updated name, is that or like how is that?
They know not
Like
only
exact
predict
name
the
of or like
yeah, they not only predict the exact incarnation, they predict what will be his name, where he's going to be born, when this will happen. Well, they said he'll be born in Gaia.
The name of the mother and the father.
The Lord will appear as Lord Buddha,
What's the problem? It's
the
Krishna.
son of Anjana. So he'll be the son of this particular
And
person
about Kalki.
in the province of Gaia. Yes, and in the next incarnation, Kalki, it is said, thereafter, in the conjunction of the two yugas, so between our Kali Yuga and the next Satya Yuga, will appear. So this is, we are talking about hundreds and thousands of years later. Another incarnation will appear, will take birth as the Kalki incarnation, who will become the son of Vishnu Yasha. So his father will be called Vishnu Yasha. And he'll be, in other places it is mentioned, he'll be born in a special place in the Himalayas. What was the village name?
Shambhala.
Shambhala. Yeah.
Well,
The name of his father will be Vishnu Yasha, a learned Brahmana, and he will appear in the village Shambhala. This is also mentioned.
all ordinary human beings, like have you heard of this French guy, like Nostradamus? Ordinary human beings, they make some predictions, and sometimes they are kind of correct. And this is the Supreme Lord here wrote this book. What's the problem? All these incarnations, they are his incarnation. So he knows when he will appear. And they're coming again and again. All these incarnations, they appear hundreds and thousands times in one day of Brahman. So it's always, therefore, there is a chapter in Bhagavatam called scheduled incarnations. It's like the schedule of the subway.
Or the truck that is coming to take your trash. You know, every Monday he'll come for this, every Thursday he'll come. So these incarnations, they appear like that. They have a job to do and they have to appear.
Although they don't appear because they have to, Krishna appears out of his own sweet will, but he appears regularly because he wants to give the mercy again and again.
To the conditioned souls.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
It's 8 o'clock. So just to mention something, and with this we'll finish and continue next time. So now we have all these avatars described, and now we have a special verse that is concluding this whole section. And this verse is saying, all of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. So they are part actually of the Lord. But Lord Shri Krishna, who apparently was described as one of the incarnations, is the original personality of Godhead. So all those are parts of the Lord, but actually Krishna is the Lord himself in his complete glory. So he is the initial, the original supreme personality of Godhead. All these incarnations, they appear on different planets whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheists. And then the Lord incarnates to protect the demigods, the theists. So all these incarnations, they appear just to do these things, create order in the universe. But the Supreme Lord Krishna, he is different from all of them. So this verse that we just read is very, very special verse. The Acharyas are explaining this is the most important verse in the whole Bhagavatam.
What's the number of that verse?
It's 1:328. Out of the 18,000 verses of Bhagavatam, this is the most important verse. Why? Because it's saying that from all the appearances of the Lord, the main is Krishna. Krishna, yes, he is the word here used is Swayam Bhagavan. God himself. God himself. Like if you are a boss of a company and many things should be done, and you can send this representative to do that and that representative for that. You have these people, that people, but some things you go and you do personally. So Krishna is when the boss goes and do the things personally. He's not sending someone else to do the job. He himself is going to do the job. Swayam Bhagavan. So next time we can speak a little bit more, and then we'll go into the first story, first pastime described on the pages of Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you for joining us, and
Hare Krishna.
hopefully we'll do it again next Friday. Thank you, Olga.